Here we go. Mixed open final. Northwest Touch versus the Southwest Saxons. The Saxons looking to go back to back in this division. Last year's winners. And they're up against the fresh and fighting Northwest Touch. Joe Wright joined alongside by Ollie Holmes, and we'll be taking you through this mixed open action. Oliver, this is set up to be an interesting one.
A very interesting game, Joe. Yeah, a very interesting game there, Joe. I think they were 3 scores up, Saxons versus Northwest earlier in the tournament here. Let's see if Northwest can bridge that gap and give us a good final here.
And I think it's fair to say that this performance so far from the Saxons has been expected with the calibre that they boast. Toby Lister, Danny Ticehurst, Chris Wade with the captain's performance wearing number 4. But then the big man in the middle wearing number 10, Marcus Evans. He's the ball player the Northwest have got to shut down. And for the team in maroon, this feels like an achievement that was potentially out of the realms of possibility going into nationals, but they have stemmed together a few games of touch to take it to any team in this division.
They're a scary side to come up against, Joe. A little bit unpredictable, but I believe they're all on the same page, and you best believe they get a set on that line. The Northwest will score.
That will be what's in the back of the mind of the Northwest team at the moment. Can we force some repeat sets, get some go forward, create some sustained pressure on this Southwest Saxons line defence as we see the Saxons in shots preparing Lister and co. And now entering the field of play, this dangerous young Northwest pod. Vast majority of these players coming through the under-18 setup. We have Liam Lawton Jr. getting us underway in this mixed final. And Coulter straightens. There is LJ. And Tom Lowe just stepping away from the oncoming press. Coulter in an acting half. There's Lawton coming over towards Ince. Logan Ince getting on the link punish. Logan Ince trying to dive at the line. Was the link short? Fergal is happy. And I think we have the opening score courtesy of Northwest Logan Ince.
You'll notice, Joe, or at least I have noticed, following the Northwest across this weekend, they love this little link punish here, okay? They use both the males and the females for that entity. And look there, it's worked a treat, hasn't it?
It has. Logan just getting underneath the covering defence, but Will Lewis getting outside of the single shooter. Will Lewis looking to just carve a line all the way. Oh. Lewis goes the full length of the pitch on touch 1, and Will Lewis establishes himself early in this game.
Never turn off after a score there, Joe. Northwest will learn their lesson on that one. Nevertheless, a superb spot. Take the space if it's there.
Twice that's happened now to the Northwest off first touch on live stream on the end of day 1. It was Simons for the Northeast Raiders that went through. Maybe a problem area for them to fix, but one thing that we know that they won't have to fix is their ability to get over the try line as Nurse feeds out to Davies. Wheatley in motion. There is Wheatley trying to take the link on. Back into Nurse. Davies straightens. Tal Nurse a little bit slow to get in there at half. 1 touch left to play with. Tal Nurse back into Davies. Jones in at half. Tal Nurse carries, straightens, tries to drop a pass off into the wing, but well fielded on that occasion by the Saxons winger in the far corner, Katrina Cotty.
Yeah, superb defence, Joe. I think they covered the short side there, and Northwest never really had an option but to throw.
As Ainscough carries well, sets the tone on this subset, eats the yards up in front of her, and now they roll into their subset. There's the big man, Corey Williams, wearing 2, getting involved for just a moment and then stepping out of the field of play. Joined alongside Lydia Mills, scooping, picking was Lawton Davies. Davies with a good bit of acceleration. And Lawton Davies drops a lovely blind switch. Trust that the cover will be there, and Mia Ainscough gets over, establishes a Saxons lead.
Absolutely superb. Like I said, you see the space you take it. He's put the afterburners on there. Little glance over the shoulder. That's a superb pass there.
It is. And Mia Ainscough happy. It was Annie Ainscough that got that subset underway. Mia finishes it with a bit of exclamation. And back into this dangerous part of Lowe, Lawton and Ince. There's Lawton. Logan Ince platforming. Tom Lowe in at acting half. Just a little bit stop-start here for the Northwest. Regathering the troops is Lawton Jr. Tom Lowe wanting the dropping early penalty. Tom Lowe going for the link punish. Tom Lowe diving at the line. That looks to be good. It is rinse and repeat for the Northwest. The only difference is the number. Tom Lowe establishes parity.
We are going to see a lot of that there. Like I said, the link punish there, Joe. He's asking for the lady to come up. Once he's up the 7, it's just a foot race to the back, and the bloke is inches off there, isn't he?
Yeah, Marcus Evans almost digging his teammate out of trouble, but Dylan Sharp and Ben Nurse now locked in the D-pod for Northwest, coming up against the dangerous Corey Russell alongside Reece Jones. There is Jones feeding away to Ticehurst. Williams in motion, Ticehurst stepping, Ticehurst diving, but a phenomenal last gasp touch comes in for Annabelle Smith. And now Ticehurst feeding away to Williams, sending the goose loose, getting around Ben Nurse, but Jack Slesser makes a try-saving touch.
Superb, and again from the Northwest wingers there, they're doing a really good job of holding that space and pushing them back into the middle.
Nurse setting good expectations on the subset, followed in suit by Slesser. Bex Holmes captain in an acting half. Holmes just organising her teammates in this subset. Tom Davies sending a platform here on 5th. There's Wheatley. Wheatley sending the goose loose and trying to drive through, but it was well crowded out there by Reece Jones.
Oh yeah, no LA, not quite, Joe. If he pins his ears back, so he might have a smaller chance of getting through that gap. I'd like to see him do that, pin his ears back and let loose.
Absolutely, as we see Annie Ainscough driving, Mia Ainscough in acting half, and there's Lawton Davies. There's the combination for the opening score, and now flooding onto the field comes captain Chris Wade wearing 4. Watch out for captain Chris Wade as they look to throw a little phase play to Matthew Clark, who was just hanging deep in the back line there. Good defensive spacing from the Northwest.
Agreed, superb defensive space. And I have to say the wingers are setting the tone here for the Northwest. I do think the Saxons will look for that fade play again.
Agreed, as we see Holmes and Lawton Jr. coming over towards Tom Lowe. That's 4th, 5th coming now. What can Lowe set up? He's back into Lawton. Lawton evades one. Lawton down for Ince now. Ince back to Lawton. 4 on 3 if they can look to execute. It's a lovely long ball rip. Finds its way over to Bex Holmes. The ball was good. It's 6 and change in that far corner. It's good completing sets here from the Northwest.
Something they've been working on all weekend there, Joe, is picking the right option, the right times, and making sure you do make use of that 6. It is a coach killer if you don't.
Yeah, and there's an isolated half there, but Northwest not able to put on the same level of line speed as we saw earlier. And now 5th coming called. Here is Evans, Marcus Evans tapping the ball back into Ryan Atwood. Atwood and Evans combining. Lewis hugging this and short side. Will Lewis tries to escape the covering touch, but it is stubborn work here. And that's 6 and turnover. No change down this short side for Will Lewis.
I would just keep an eye on that option again, Joe, with the Saxons just popping a male on this wing here. It's got many different a name. You do try and get that mismatch from male to female.
Yeah, but Ella Wiley stayed alert to it. And now here's Dylan Sharp feeding back on the inside. Sharp in an acting half. Nurse coming to join the play. Ben Nurse setting a platform for Dylan Sharp. Sharp flows a little bit of a speculative loop wrap pass, trying to find Ben Nurse, but Marcus Evans had it all covered.
Just trying to replicate a play earlier, Joe, in the semi-final. A superb cut by both Dylan and Ben. Absolutely clean through the middle. Yeah,
wonderful shot there from Ben Nurse, getting up and trapping the Saxons. But now Will Lewis gets around the pressure of Slesser, and Wiley's isolated. Ainscough cannons onto the ball. This is good momentum manufactured here for the Saxons. And now Reece Jones platforming, stepping away. But Slesser has it covered and it's picked off. That's touch 0. And Nurse and Sharp and Slesser do a good job at seeing out that offensive set. Sharp and Nurse. What a wonderful semi-final of it did Ben Nurse, and we're looking to carry that form into this final match as we see Davies, Wheatley scooping, Wheatley delivering a nice ball, but then it's shut down with authority by Katrina Cotty.
Unfortunately for the Northwest there, that was a slight miscount on the touch with an intercept. That was touch 0. They should have had an extra touch there, maybe an opportunity to attack the line.
Oh, indeed. Fresh set of 6 here for the Northwest. Nurse wanted to go quickly. On pitch ref Fergal, reminding them of where the mark is. There's Wheatley. There's Nurse, again coming towards this link punish. Tal Nurse trying to engage, but it's well crowded out by a very stubborn Saxons defence. The sub-box barking orders. And now back to Nurse and Wheatley. Wheatley wants the link. Fergal's happy with the line speed at the moment. Wheatley might be frustrated by it. Wheatley now works over to Davies. Sweeper coming for Nurse. Wheatley coming back against the grain and whipping a lovely long ball from the hip of Noah Wheatley. Not able to connect with Wiley on this occasion, but that was the right option.
Yeah, agreed. I think the Saxons are asking the Northwest to chuck wide. The Northwest do have to take that option. If only Ella was a couple of inches taller, eh?
Absolutely. Tom Lawton-Davies. This is fourth, fifth coming now. Not a good field position platform to scoot from, but Lawton-Davies is no familiar to making things happen. Late switch play comes wrapping around. Now it's a 3-on-2, but the Northwest scramble with a relentless efficiency. There was a moment where that disguised switch play to captain Chris Wade looked to undo the Northwest defence, but they just problem solved so well.
Yeah, they've done really good, like you said, at holding their space there. You'll notice that the Saxons have done a really good job at killing their sets on the left-hand side here, making the Northwest work further across.
Yeah, this is fourth now, and this subset has been pretty sticky here. That's fifth now off Coulter, and LJ receives one in the face from Bexholmes, and that's just a little bit of inaccuracy at the subset.
Yeah, just a touch. Let's see how the Saxons work off the field here. You're hoping touch 3 past the halfway. It looks like that's going to happen for them here.
I'd love to see more line speed coming from the Northwest. Go hunting for the ball. Saxons slowed down this subset at will, and Northwest not really getting up and putting too much pressure on them. And Atwood and Evans will be looking to make that count as Atwood feeds Will Lewis. Lewis feeds the extra pass away. It's good, and that ball is down in the corner.
That was some lightning speed we've just seen there. Like you said, Joe, turning it from 0 to 100 in a split second, and they've come out with a score in the corner there.
Yeah, Will Lewis draws and pass. The cover defence of Bexholmes had to make a decision, goes for the pass or playing at the ball, and Saxons establish themselves a 3-2 lead. It's wonderful work once more from Atwood and Lewis and Evans as we see Slesser platforming, Nurse giving. Now Nurse and Dylan Sharp working together. There is Ben Nurse coming over towards this left-hand side, but now that's fifth touch. Nurse and Sharp just looking to kill this ball in the far corner. Sharp almost wriggling his way over, but the Saxons put up a wall in front of him. Really good yards made off this subset, going direct and earning the right to come over to the box side. That's third touch. Nurse tries to put a bit of a nudge on, but it's well navigated initially from the Saxons, and then Slesser has a dabble and gives away the 6 more.
For a moment of jeopardy, I'm sure would have loved Slesser to take that one down the other end for a 3-3 after 10-11 minutes would be wonderful.
Yeah, Northwest really in this game and finding their feet. Nurse making good touches on Wade and Lawton-Davies. There is Lawton-Davies checking away. Wade in motion. Wade sweeping. Wade driving towards the line. Slesser recovers extremely well. Body position initially was all over the show, and then recovers, uses the speed as Wade working with Lawton-Davies. Lawton-Davies ripping a lovely long ball. Wiley getting over. Wiley making a try-saver touch. That is phenomenal work from Ella Wiley.
Absolutely superb, Joe. I'm not too certain how she covered that amount of ground in such a short space of time.
Lawton-Davies maybe could have just gone through the hands and exposed the 3-on-2, but again, this subset for Northwest, just a problem area right now. Holmes is isolated and has to surrender field possession. That's 4th touch. This is 5th coming, not getting over the halfway at the moment are Northwest, and Davies and Nurse and Wheatley has to create something, but that's 6 in turnover, and Saxons go quickly. And this is bad news for Northwest. It's the fresh legs that are coming on the field, and they'll have a couple touches to play with. Is that dangerous part of Atwood, Lewis and Evans. There's Evans out in that link channel now. Evans, county step back, Marcus Evans, ripping, winding, connecting, and that looks to be ball down and try time, and that is vintage Marcus Evans. And that's a dagger to the heart of Northwest.
Not quite that time round for Ella, although I will say that one was also close there as well. The Southwest have currently had two in a row of the option of the link hole there. Arguably picked the wrong pass, but they have come out with 2 scores.
They have, and now Northwest come back over to this familiar link platform and need a little bit more go forward into their setups as Lawton looking for the open side quickie. Liam Lawton back to Tom Lowe. Lowe now coming down in front of Ince. Ince to Lawton. Lawton ripping long. Lawton to Holmes, but Holmes can't quite take it with her. Again, right options being picked, not quite matching the execution, but there will be a fresh set of 6 for an offside penalty.
And this is the Northwest opportunity now to play exactly the same play and punish them there.
Yeah, Lawton coming back over to Coulter. Coulter wants that link punished, getting Corey Williams up and honest. Coulter diving at the line. Williams was in the right area to make a touch, but it's a good bit of conditioning here for the Northwest, engaging those links early. Attacking towards the Northwest cohort down in this bottom end as we see Lowe back into Lawton. Lawton stepping, inside pass was on, doesn't give it, gives it to Wiley, and that is ball down, if not for the forward pass coming off of Liam Lawton.
Yeah, well spotted by the referees there. We should see Saxons drive down the box. Let's see if they can keep the same momentum that they've been building in the first half.
Yeah, well, this is third touch up on the 10-metre line. Lowe getting up and putting a good bit of line speed on. Ince following in suit with fourth touch, just over halfway. Lawton gets up and makes a touch on fifth, but there's an offside penalty in the midfield. He points to both middles, guilty of not hitting the 7-metre line, and that is a bit criminal from this Northwest midfield.
Ray McFarlane to control. Ray McFarlane.
As you see Chris Wade coming down for Lawton Davies. Lawton Davies back to Wade. Wade stepping. Wade going hard at the line, but Tom Lowe makes a good touch as Chris Wade just looks. Chris Wade pulls up and subs himself off. You could see he sort of jarred the step there as he got over the try line. That'll be a big miss for the Saxons if the captain goes out injured. Atwood takes his place. There's Atwood, dummied to by Lawton Davies, and that's half court and turnover. And that's a good defensive set from the Northwest. Hopefully something that can catapult them back into a scoring setup.
Yeah, some better progress made here. They've been struggling to get past the halfway on their subset. So there's 3, and in theory they should make it past this time for a strike in the opposition end.
Yeah, 4, Nurse scooping at hard, 5th touch platform coming off the back of Sharp. Dylan Sharp platforming, Nurse accelerating, Nurse spearing a nice ball out into that link channel, but not enough depth on the play out there to undo the good press. Coming in once more from Katrina Cotty on that far wing. And Atwood and Ainscough with a bit of interplay, trying to get around Slesser, but Slesser stays tall. Here is Ainscough once more. This is 5th coming, scooping platform, Slesser shadowing, but the ball's away, and Corey Williams looks to throw something pretty speculative over to Ainscough, and Ainscough recycles the play well, and this would be a glorious score if the Saxons can go make something happen. And it was hands-on-head stuff there for Northwest as they were left batting the ball down to save Saxons going over once more.
Again, superb stuff from Ella on the wing there. If she doesn't get in the way of that ball, that would be another score in the corner. Absolutely superb work.
Absolutely, as we see Williams to Jones. Reece Jones accelerating. Reece Jones getting over. And it's a tired defence out there for the Northwest as Jones skates over for the Saxons' 5th.
Yeah, it's one of those. Benny is in the right position there. He's just not quite got the legs to catch the number 14.
Oh, it's unfortunate stuff there for Northwest as the sub-box looks a little bit quieter over there in maroon, whereas the one in blue is buoyant at the moment. Jones working with Davies and Nurse combining, now coming back over towards Wheatley stepping, Wheatley trying to come back on the inside. It's good defence there from Evans and co. As Tal Nurse comes over to the link goes to the wing. Unfortunately though from Izzy Jones, that pass doesn't quite have the beans on it to get over.
Just a touch of head loss there, Joe. We'll see if the Northwest can apply, like you've been asking for, that pressure on the sub.
That's a good first touch there, catching them behind the gain line, but this shooters going only in pairs, and now the half's isolated and Tal Nurse goes and puts a bit of pressure on. And Will Lewis, though, offers himself, and now Lewis is off to the races, and we know how fast Will Lewis is, but Bex Holmes slams the door in the face of Lewis. Again, Will Lewis threatening as Williams spears a ball across the face of the Saxons attack. Ainscough comes into this link play, and the Saxons looking to disguise a male winger for just a moment. Referees were happy with a touch and pass when the whole play had stopped. And now, fifth touch, Lawton Davies to Williams. Williams goes an extra one, it's an extra pass there, and can Wiley make the touch? Wiley doesn't make the touch. And this time it's Mia Ainscough finishing in the corner. It was simple catch and pass in the end for Matthew Clark, because the damage was done by Williams and Lawton Davies, and Ainscough with the gas to get over in the corner.
That was millimetres there, Joe. Yeah, I think the Saxons have realised that the space is opening up on the left-hand side here for them, and that's exactly what they've taken advantage of.
Yeah, Northwest started fast and got their first scores in the first 3 minutes, and it's been 15 minutes of rough work for this team from the north as they look to come back over to this familiar link platform, but the middles are up making good touches. And now Logan Ince gets over, and Lowe avoids one, it's play away, and that's 6 in turnover. And the boys from the north getting a little bit frustrated with their lack of success on the line.
Yeah, we can just see that frustration creeping in a little bit there, Joe. So it's easier said than done, but it's about keeping a calm head and picking the right options at the right time. I'm sure Sam will be reinforcing that at the half-time team talk.
Absolutely, but again, there's another offside penalty, and leaking penalties now at the Northwest.
And that might be another for chat back there as well from number 50, Noah Wheatley.
Potentially, although no chat hand signal as of now, but the extra 10 metres definitely on offer as Williams avoids a touch, comes back on the inside to Atwood, and now Evans as well. Just steadying the ship for a moment. Marcus Evans, familiar sweeper setup, step back option, drops a late pass off to Atwood, and that is Saxons scything through the Northwest defence right on the stroke of half-time. That is a commanding performance from the Southwest Saxons.
Yeah, they have controlled probably the second 10 minutes of that first half there, Joe. Like I said, the space is opened on the left. When the Northwest shut that space off, they play against the grain, and that's exactly what's happened there, finding the gap through the middle.
We go into half-time where the Saxons have an extremely commanding lead of 5 tries. 7 tries to 2 over Northwest touch. There's problem solving to be done in that Northwest sub box. This is for all the marbles. You don't want to leave anything out there, but for the Southwest Saxons, it should be business as usual. We'll be right back with you for the second half in just a few minutes' time.
I got my hand. No, thank you though.
So, welcome back, and the second half is just about to get underway in this mixed open final. And the Saxons, well, they were out on the pitch early, weren't they, Ollie? And from a Saxons perspective, just what is it that's given them this commanding platform going into the second half?
For me, Joe, just that go forward, particularly in the sub pattern there, that revolves around both teams as well. Saxons are able to get around the halfway line on third touch, exactly what your coach wants you to do. The Northwest are struggling just a touch in that area. If they were to make that simple fix and give that go forward, getting that fresh legs on the pitch, they'll give themselves an opportunity in the second half here.
Absolutely. And then, in the same vein, what is it that the Northwest were doing well? Because to get over this try line twice, it's no small feat, and for that first 10 minutes, they look to be growing into the game. What was it that gave them that platform?
They're giving that platform in the middle, particularly on their 33 platform, when they play left to right first and then play the opposite way second. I think they just need to pin their ears back again and just attack that line with a little bit more intensity, and they might have some success there.
Agreed, and we'll see how this game plays out as we've got 20 minutes left to decide the victors of the mixed open category. Here is Will Lewis bouncing around and just engaging a few, but it's a good flick touch that comes in from Dylan Sharp, and Lewis escaping a touch, and now this is dangerous. We've seen this all tournament, and Will Lewis puts the dancing shoes on and skips his way over the try line.
He is incredibly quick, Joe. That is a prime example there of pinning your ears back and going for the space as it's presented there. Again, another touch that is a few inches, if not an inch away from being a defensive success there.
Absolutely. But from the Northwest, that is a bit of a nightmare start as the mixed open team has to go again and pick themselves up, dust themselves off. Just need a little bit more foot speed going into these roll balls. That's a touch better there from Tom Davies as Wheatley stepping open side and delivering to Izzy Jones. Izzy Jones back into Wheatley. Wheatley stepping. Wheatley trying to avoid a few, finding the way back into Izzy Jones. But Northwest are playing in quite a condensed area. It's something that we saw in the first half as well. And now they do try and move it open side as Nurse with a late pass away to Wheatley. Wheatley to Jones, and Jones tries to go for a tweener to Holmes. I just love to see them run a little bit more expansive. That's not on fifth touch. Something that comes beforehand, so you've got a platform to use off the back of it. They're not stretching this defence enough, and it means that the Saxons just stay pretty comfortable.
Yeah, so it's about playing your option there, Joe. If the game plan is to play on the short side, which it seems that is the option for the Northwest there, it's about then picking your next option, which is playing open and trust in your 4v3.
Lawton Davies scoops on fifth, drops a late pass off to Will Lewis, and Tal Nurse with a really good defensive touch, and Tom Davies follows suit and just taking the ball back to the mark now. And now Wheatley straightens, gets two up in the touch, but then a loss of accuracy and concentration creeps into the Northwest sub pattern. They surrender a fresh set of six here.
And there will be some tired legs out there. This is their third set there on the pitch for the Northwest. If they do well and don't concede here, they'll have to work hard to get off the pitch.
Yeah, but Lewis driving hard at the line, throws the extra pass to Lydia Mills, but Mills can't quite rein it in. And now Lydia Mills potentially fortunate to get away with her in the roll ball penalty as Wheatley finds Coulter. Here is Wheatley again. Coulter once more. That's fifth touch, and there's just not a lot of momentum. Tom Lowe tries to put on a bit of pace and finds the extra pass to Bex Holmes, but it's taking so many touches for them to get off the pitch. The fresh legs that are coming on just don't really have any sort of attacking platform to work with.
No, and just struggling to develop those overlaps there, Joe. It's about turning the defenders' hips one way, making them feel threatened, and then coming back the other.
Atwood for Williams. Evans back to Williams, and Corey Williams are going to make something happen. Ainscough stepping back on the inside, leaving Tom low on the floor. Ainscough almost finds a way through.
Yeah, there's a lot of confidence coming there from Ainscough. I think that she's really grown into the game through the first half.
Apologies, that's not Ainscough, that's Jess Clark. Goes to the commentator.
I stand corrected.
Yeah, the VC, Jess Clark. And tap penalty here for Northwest. They sub one early, and now the boys have got to work hard to get off the pitch. That's better vertical yards, and now moving laterally over to the box side. That second touch, let's see if they can give the fresh legs an attacking platform to work with. Third, that's a little bit better, and then straightened up as well. Orchestrated by Holmes, and now Dylan Sharp. Nurse setting a platform here on fifth, but Sharp just can't take it with him, and you can see the body language from Northwest. It must feel frustrating, but also they're coming up against the most well-drilled defence in this division, and they've got to come up with a little bit of magic to make something happen.
Yeah, you're right, Joe. To beat the reigning champions, you do have to come up with a little bit of magic there. I have to say this South West Saxons side, like you said, are very well drilled. They know exactly what pattern to run and when, and that is starting to show in the second half of this game here.
Yeah, fresh set of 6 here off the offside penalty. And calls from the sideline to use all the touches available to them. Jones in 14, Lewis sweeping round, Reece Jones picking back up against the grain, coming over towards Ticehurst, but then there's an incorrect play of the ball, so a fresh set of 6 and reprieve for the Northwest.
Yeah, I believe the attacker just put the ball down there before the touch was made, so therefore there's your turnover.
Yeah, Holmes with a good carry, and then another mistake at the subset for Northwest, and it does feel like it's the problem area for this team right now, and they've got to be able to fix it on the fly. So far, they've not been able to do so. And you give Ticehurst and Jones an opportunity to have a go. There's Lewis in motion. Will Lewis straightening. Will Lewis diving. Will Lewis with a hat trick in this final. Will Lewis, well, he's standing out amongst the rest, isn't he?
Almost definitely, Joe. He's got that turn of pace, hasn't he? That's his hat-trick there. Superb. A little dive over the line. It looks like the Northwest middles, their fuel tanks are starting to just run on low. Just need to find that extra 10 minutes worth of energy here, there, or somewhere.
Agreed. And they're just... it's this foot speed into the roll ball. Not necessarily making as many metres as the South West Saxons. However, this is the pod that's had the keys to this defence so far. Lowe and Lawton working together. Lawton picking away, now coming back against the grain and trying to escape through a gap, and that's half court and turnover. And there was a moment there where you thought Lawton could have ripped right to left, try and find this winger, opt to try and go through the gap himself, and Corey Williams with a good defensive read. And Lawton Davies getting up, and look at the difference in subsets right now. Saxons carrying, Will Lewis straightening, bouncing around Lawton, then back into Ince, and then Clark gets a nice ball down, and now Lewis, blind cut there to Atwood, but Northwest stay wise to it on that occasion. But Saxons, you can tell they're playing with confidence right now.
Yeah, they're starting to loosen up a little bit, aren't they? That being said, the Northwest hands have been free-flowing when they've let them go. It's just that the Saxons, like you said, do have a little bit more confidence to let them fly.
Indeed, you can sort of see that subbing pattern getting off was a little bit stop-start, and now I think this is 5th coming. So Nurse has to create something from almost halfway. Nurse trying to bounce around Atwood. Atwood offside. Nurse escaping through. Ball goes to Slesser, but Ainscough makes a good defensive read. Oh, Marcus Evans just strolls through the oncoming challenge of Slesser with ease. He is a pleasure to watch when he gets rolling. And now there's Jones and Ticehurst. Ticehurst platforming. Reece Jones back to Ticehurst. There's a 3-on-2. Extra pass has to go. And that is a wonderful score. It's Annie Tamir Ainscough getting over in the corner. And this South West Saxons team, I mean, how good are they?
Absolutely superb, Joe. That is a textbook example of how to execute your 4v3 on the open side there.
Yeah, and this is the replay of this lovely bit of work from Marcus Evans that got it all going. Big checking wing dummy. And Slesser, well, bought it for $1.
He won't be watching that one back in a hurry.
Nurse and Wheatley, body language from Northwest looking a little bit dejected as Wheatley rips open side to Nurse. Nurse goes to the wing, and that's what we've been asking them to do for 25 minutes. And now they get over. They run that open side platform, and Ella Wiley finishes. But what about this ball from Town Nurse?
Absolutely superb flat pass. He knew exactly where the option was. So they've gone for the link punish on the open side. They've spread open, and then Tal's played that pass over the top of his link, and Ella is waiting there very gratefully.
First bit of variation we've seen off that link punish platform reaps rewards for Northwest. That was a really well worked score, and now they need to back that up with a defensive shutout, but that is easier said than done when you've got Clark and Atwood and Evans all coming towards you, and not to mention the gas man on the outside, Will Lewis. As Evans platforming for an open side quickie, Atwood gets it back from Evans, but another incorrect play of the ball. So Northwest do get their shutout. But again, that roll ball speed is just too slow. That's better from Lowe. And Ince with a good bit of foot speed. This is forthcoming now. And here come the supporting cast for Dylan Sharp. Nurse wrapping around the outside, back on the inside to Sharp at a much better platform, and Sharp gets the ball down, but that'll be off the mark. They're just not able to piece together that one set of 6 to unlock the Sharks' defence.
Yeah, it looked like they were just stringing the passes together there to get the right momentum and the right sort of space to run into there. I think he was just caught from behind with a touch and didn't quite feel that one, Joe.
Yeah, it's a tough one to take for Dylan Sharp after you just made all those metres, but then look how easily the Saxons are able to bounce around the oncoming press of Northwest. That's the problem area. Rhys Jones on that occasion it was taking advantage of it, but we've seen Will Lewis do exactly the same as Corey Williams throws a blind pass, hoping to connect with Danny Ticehurst. It's good. Vertical yards on offer, and then Sharp wanting to play the extra pass to Holmes, does. Slesser then carries. That's third touch up over halfway. This is the best subset we've seen so far, and Nurse feeds Davies, and Davies gets the ball down, and Wheatley now gets to use his footwork in a bit of open space, feeds a late pass away, and I tell you what, if Davies was on his toes, might have been able to reel that one in, and then there was a 3-on-1 on the far side. It's good work from Wheatley.
Yeah, Northwest seem to have made those changes on the fly here. Whether it's too little, too late, it's to be decided, Joe. But it's good to see that they've made the right changes and now are attacking the open space.
Yeah, Will Lewis, Lawton Davies, over to Mills. Mills straightens, Mills dishes, Ainscough back on the inside, and Will Lewis, and there is a big bit of contact coming in there from Noah Wheatley on Will Lewis, and the referees have a bit of a decision to be made. That was rugby league-esque on the field here, and we hope that Will Lewis is okay.
I have a slight feeling he was trying to cushion his fall there, Joe, although I'd have to watch it back to make a decision on that one.
Yeah, well, here it is on the replay. And you see, after the ball back on the inside from Ainscough, ooh, it looks a bit too naughty from Wheatley. And Wheatley is sent for time. So we'll spend 2 minutes down there in the naughty box. We'll know a Wheatley. And we do hope that Will Lewis was okay. That won't be one to watch back there for Noah Wheatley. But we move on. Is Atwood working with Clark. Atwood fizzing to Evans, and this is danger, and Evans just delivers one out there, but on this occasion a little bit inaccurate with the pass from Marcus Evans.
I have to say it is a scary thought, having Bex Holmes running flat out at you from the wing there. She's just done enough just to upset his mojo, and just a little loose hands on the edge there.
Yeah, it's good work there from Bex Holmes, saving a surefire score, just taking the time away from Marcus Evans, and then Coulter goes off on a marauding run up into the guts as Lowe avoids the touch of Evans. That's good from Tom Lowe, who has been certainly a bright spark so far for this Northwest mixed team. There's Lowe taking on Evans. Evans with a muscular touch. Lawton trying to step, but Marcus Evans pinged for a firm touch. There's good explanation there from the on-pitch ref.
Yeah, just explaining that he popped his foot in a place it didn't belong.
Yeah, Lowe and Lawton have got to do a better job at getting all of these middles up, because they're allowing them to get back early as Lowe looks to just bounce on the outside. Diving touch comes in from Jess Clark.
Yeah, Jess Clark has been immense throughout this game, Joe.
Absolutely, as Lowe once more tries to get over. Just denied. And Liam Lawton with a huge end over end pass to Bex Holmes, just trying to kill the ball in that far corner. As they still remain a man down, only 5 on the pitch. And Lawton getting over to make a covering touch, but this away set is a good idea from the Saxons, trying to just create as much separation as possible in this midfield. 5 minutes left to go as Evans comes in. And acting half popping away to Ainscough. There's Lewis in an acting half, feeding back on the inside. And Lewis now picking, going, dropping a pass back off on the inside, and can they finish? Danny Ticehurst it was who thought he'd gone over, but that's 5th touch now. And there's a 3-on-2 if they want to finish. Danny Ticehurst just dives over himself. And the Southwest Saxons, well, they're playing with a swagger about them.
Yeah, they've, like I said, they've got that energy and sort of that commitment to throwing the ball and making the Northwest move.
Is Nurse and Sharp working with Annabelle Smith, and Sharp and Nurse will be looking to just get scores on the board now. Anything will do as Nurse shows a dummy, but Corey Williams gets up and makes a really good touch. Stubborn work here for the Saxons, and Northwest of course still down 5 as Nurse floats a nice ball out onto the wing, but it's picked off and then dropped by Ainscough, but they might give the forward pass first. The referee's having a bit of a discussion. 6 more.
Yeah, I was undecided whether that one was flat or forwards then, Joe. I couldn't quite figure it out, but the referees have given 6 more. Now let's see if the Northwest can take advantage.
Yeah, Nurse and Sharp feeding back to Nurse diving at the line, but again, it's good presentation there from Lawton Davies.
So it'd be nice to see the Northwest now play the other option, potentially with a QB, passing the ball around, working that ball a little bit more.
Yeah, but there's an incorrect play of the ball there, and they won't get the opportunities because of an infringement at the roll ball, and then Nurse with a dominant touch, occupying that roll ball space, and off the back of it there's a turnover. And now they are back to 6. So Wheatley spending his time in the sin bin and coming out the back of it. Slesser dropping down for Nurse. Sharp coming back in front of Nurse. Nurse in an acting half. Sharp diving at the line. Dylan Sharp trying to beat Marcus Evans, but Evans just stands there unwavered. And then Evans getting up, putting the line speed on for Dylan Sharp, and Nurse as Sharp drops a nice pass off there to Slesser, but Ainscough makes a brilliant touch. And that's 5, and it's just a little bit frustrating for Northwest as Dylan Sharp plays a nice switch pass with Annabelle Smith, but 2 sets of 6 defended by the Southwest Saxons.
And that, Joe, probably explains why they will be 2-time back-to-back champions there. We have seen the quality throughout their team from 1 to 16.
Yeah, I mean, what more can you say? And this final has the feel of it of one team that's further down that developmental track in the mixed open division than another. Southwest Saxons with a really established team now, and Northwest, well, this is the first competition that these guys have been able to play together. Also probably the first time they've had everyone in the same place in this mixed open division. Not a lot of training beforehand. They could be happy with their results as Williams tries to feed out, and then it's batted on, and Ainscough with a switch pass on the inside, and there's a one-handed grab, and Dylan Sharp with a flick touch to stop Reece Jones from getting over and tying this performance off with a bow. Slessor down for Nurse and Sharp, and it's just a little bit leggy now, this transition, as Williams is able to get up and mark a couple players. And with a minute left to go here, you can't help but feel like this Northwest team, they've done oh so well to get to the position that they're in, but they've just come up against the premier team in the division.
Yeah, I don't think they'll all look back and be too proud of their performances from a performance perspective. But like you said, Joe, a 3-day tournament, it's 3 days of hard touch, it's been fast, it's been furious. And like you said, to get here with such a young side, I believe with an average age of 20, is a phenomenal achievement in itself, isn't it?
That is a phenomenal achievement. It's exciting times if you're in this Northwest Mixed Open team. They can only go from strength to strength. A year, well, one more year's worth of playing experience might have done them the world of good in this final, but as it stands, the Saxons looking to cap off their performance emphatically as Lawton Davies picks to Lewis. Lewis wanted to go one more, but once again Bex Holmes gets in the passing lane and shuts down another try.
Yeah, I have to say, I think without the Northwest wingers, not just Bex in particular, you've got I've forgotten the name of the lady on the screen. Wiley, yeah, they've both shut off and they've stopped probably 3 or 4 scores in this game here, Joe.
Absolutely, as Wheatley looks to use those dancing feet to get through a couple, buy some extra meters, and then Will Lewis gets up to put the squeeze on. And Liam Lawton looking to create something on the hooter. Lawton tries to step through, but it's not enough. And realistically, Saxons always in cruise control in that second half. And Southwest Saxons fully deserve the victory, taking them back-to-back champions, spearheaded by that man who was just on your screen, number 32, Will Lewis.